Chapter 19. The crisp, navy blue uniform felt like armor, a stark contrast to the chaos that had always clung to Alice like a shadow. Chicago, a city of steel and glass, was a universe away from the crumbling Memphis projects and the stifling conformity of Killeen, Texas. The Navy was a lifeline, a chance to rewrite her story, to become someone new amidst the regimented order and unexpected camaraderie of military life. Gigi, the hardened shell Alice had crafted to protect her fractured psyche, thrived in this environment. She devoured technical manuals, her sharp mind dissecting complex systems with an almost predatory hunger. The ASFOB, a test that would have intimidated the fragmented Alice, was child's play for Gigi, her scores unlocking the door to a coveted position as an electronic technician. Her peers, mostly men, were drawn to her quiet competence, the way her fingers danced across the control panels, coaxing life from dormant circuits. They marveled at her ability to diagnose a malfunctioning system with a few deft strokes, her calm efficiency masking the maelstrom raging within. She was a whisperer of machines, a sorceress of code, her touch imbued with an uncanny grace. But the ghosts of Alice's past were never far behind, lurking in the shadows of her success. The background checks, the psychological evaluations, they were minefields she should never have navigated, given the fractured landscape of her mind. Yet somehow, she had slipped through the cracks, Gigi's stoic mask concealing the abyss within, the voices in her head silenced by a desperate yearning for normalcy. For a year, the Navy was a sanctuary, a place where Alice could almost believe she was whole. Then she met Eric Odom, a drill sergeant with the swagger of a panther, radiated a raw masculinity that both intrigued and intimidated Alice. 6 years her senior, he possessed a worldly wisdom that she, despite her fragmented experiences, still lacked. His smile, a flash of white against his dark skin, was a weapon, disarming and seductive, capable of melting the resolve of the toughest recruit. Alice, with her history of trauma and her desperate hunger for love, was easy prey. She was, in many ways, still a child when it came to matters of the heart. Her first marriage, a desperate act of rebellion disguised as a love story, had been more about escaping her past than embracing a future. Taking her husband's name had been a symbolic act of self-erasure, a futile attempt to outrun the demons that clung to her. The day they met, Alice was waiting for the base transport to Gurnee Mall, her stomach churning with a mixture of excitement and dread. Eric pulled up in his red Nissan Maxima, the engine rumbling like a predator's growl. He leaned out the window, his smile a challenge and an invitation. "Hey there, sailor," he purred, his voice a silken caress that sent shivers down her spine. "Need a ride to the mall? I'm heading that way myself." Alice hesitated, a flicker of caution warring with a deeper impulse she couldn't quite name. It wasn't the thrill of the unknown that drew her to strangers, but something more akin to a magnetic pull, a compulsion she couldn't resist. It was as if a part of her, a hidden voice, whispered reassurances, urging her to trust, to surrender to the whims of fate. "Sure," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "That would be great. Thanks." He swung open the passenger door for her, a gesture of chivalry that belied the darkness lurking beneath his charm. As she slid into the seat, she couldn't help but notice the way his eyes lingered on her, a predatory gleam that sent a shiver of both fear and excitement through her. And in the back of her mind, a voice, soft and seductive, whispered, "He's the one, Alice. Trust him." It was a voice she barely recognized, a voice that held the echo of Elliot's charm, the promise of protection and belonging. Eric, a master manipulator, sensed her vulnerability and took control of the conversation. He spun a tale of his life. A single father, a Florida boy at heart, a seasoned sailor with a world of experiences. He spoke of his longing for a family, for a woman to share his life with, his words carefully calibrated to resonate with Alice's deepest desires. "I've been all over the world," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "But I've never met anyone like you, Alice. You're special, Alice, starved for affection and affirmation, felt her defenses crumble. Eric was everything she thought she wanted, confident, worldly, and attentive. He filled the void in her heart with promises of love and a future that shimmered with possibility. And in the background, that same seductive voice murmured, "He understands you, Alice. He sees the real you,